Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second episode of this season of Chamber on Tap, powered by Connexus Credit Union. I'm Cody Pothardesky, the professional business specialist with Connexus and a proud member of the Chamber on Tap team. Our Chamber on Tap team is made up of both Chamber staff and Chamber members who volunteer to help plan and execute this season of Chamber on Tap. So our team members are Trina Scully, Kendra Cruson, and then our volunteer team members are Annika Forcier, Curtis Forcier, Nadine Kanigan, and myself. So team, can you just give a wave? Like this? Curtis? Hey, there we go. Okay, so that's the team that puts on this event and plans it all season long, and we have a lot of fun doing it and putting it on for you guys. We're all here to answer questions and help facilitate networking as best as we can for you. You will probably notice that Annika, Curtis, and myself are wearing these like jackets that are making everybody jealous. They're so great, yeah. No, we did not just come from a used car dealership's blowout sale. And yes, we know how bright they are. We have these on to help us stand out in the room for your benefit, because we are here as volunteer Chamber ambassadors. So if you have questions about the Chamber, Chamber on Tap specifically, advocacy efforts, it's a hard word to say, or anything else Chamber related, we will do our best to answer that question for you or point you in the direction of where you can find it. We're also happy to help facilitate any introductions you might have. So if later on tonight, when people are networking, you want to meet someone and they're engaged in conversation, we'll be that rude person. They'll be like, excuse me, this person wants to meet you. And then you can continue on. Sound good? Right on. Now, as many of you know, the mission of the Greater Saskatoon Chamber of Commerce is to promote and build our community through prosperity and business, currently representing over 80,000 individuals. So you can find more information on the Chamber, its advocacy efforts, the team, its staff, upcoming events, all at saskatoonchamber.com. Also, remember to follow this Chamber on social at Stoon Chamber, so S-Toon Chamber. Cool. Now, speaking of upcoming events, if you guys thought that October was a busy month with Small Business Week, like hold on to your toques, because November is packed. So what's going on in November, you're all asking? Thank you. I actually didn't expect anyone to respond. I love the engagement of this crowd. Okay, what's going on in November? The team at the Chamber is putting on 8 events this October. 8. November. What did I say? That was a test, you passed. Okay, so I don't have time to talk about all 8 of them, but I want to highlight at least 3. The first one, tomorrow, is the Chamber Summit. It's an all-day event. It has 11 speakers. There's going to just be a full fountain of information there. Truly amazing event. Now, the caveat to that is if you're just hearing about it now and you haven't gotten a ticket, the summit's sold out. But hey, this is where networking comes in. So as you're talking to people tonight, ask them, are you going to the Chamber Summit? If they say yes, find out if they have an extra ticket and get yourself invited as a guest. Okay? Introverts, that's your icebreaker for the rest of the night. The second event that I wanted to touch on is on November 14th. We've a morning session with Premier Scott Moe coming in and talking about the next decade of growth. So I'm personally really excited for that one and to hear the Premier speak. The third event that I want to touch on is on November 8th, and it's one of the business-to-business events. And this one is going to be talking on, let me just double check. The event title is Post-Traumatic Growth, The New Beginning. So it's going to be a really powerful event with Jody Solway, who's a former Canadian Forces soldier. He's going to be talking about how to continue to thrive and learning to thrive after obstacles in business and in life. So really looking forward to that. Now, I would stand up here and talk to you about all 8 events that are going on this November. But, you know, Kendra tells me that we have a time schedule to keep, and I don't have time to do that. So means if you have questions about the other 5 events going on or more information for these, just go ask Kendra. Or go to saskatoonchamber.com and click on events. All right. I do see that we have a board member in the house tonight, so There we go. Katrina German, just wanted to give her a shout out. It's great to see the board out at Chamber events supporting us. Now, as I stated, this is the second episode of this season of Chamber on Tap, and Chamber on Tap is made possible thanks to all of our amazing sponsors. So just want to take a moment and recognize them. We have Conexus Credit Union as our marquee sponsor, the largest credit union in the province, and I'm also here proudly representing Conexus tonight. We have our promoting sponsors, Thrive Wealth Management and Edwards School of Business. We have our supporting sponsors, Doreen's Catering and Kitchen Social, LB Distillers, and Sound Lounge by T-Bone. And then we have amazing community sponsors this year with our friends at the W Law Group, Payworks, Lift Accounting, Royal LePage Varsity, and the Saskatchewan Rattlers. So just join me in a round of applause and thanking our sponsors for their support. All right, let's get on with the show. So, tonight we'll follow the typical format of Chamber on Tap, meaning that once Nadine has done the formal portion, we will be opening up the floor to all of you lovely people for a brief Q&A with our guest. I'll be coming around with the wireless mic, so if you have a question, put your hand up. Get your hand up early. We typically only have time for about 3 questions, so if you have one, think of it. Just keep that in mind. I also understand that not everyone is comfortable talking on a mic in front of a room this size, but if you do have a question, let me know. When I come over, just tell it to me, and I'll ask it on the microphone for you, okay? Okay, where's my participation going? Okay, there we go, yes. Now, speaking of Nadine, she is our host for Chamber on Tap. Nadine is an accomplished entrepreneur, longtime resident of Saskatoon, and she currently, well, she's the founder and CEO of the Ultrasound Center, which has 3 locations locally. Now, a fun fact about Nadine, on top of running her business and keeping several other side projects spinning, she is also an accomplished cellist? Is that how you say it? Yeah, see, you have to be careful what information you tell me because I use it. So, for anyone who's interested, for the rest of the week, Nadine could be found at Broadway Theater as part of the orchestra accompanying Into the Woods. I don't know if you can see her. I don't know where the orchestra sits, but yeah. All right, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome your amazing host, Nadine Kanigan.
Hello, thank you for that, and welcome to the second episode of the Chamber on Tap. It's so nice to see all of you here, especially on a bit of a chilly day, right? I know the sun is shining, but we can't be fooled, it's getting cold. So as the weather turns and the days become shorter, it's really nice for us all to be able to gather with friends and share some of that positive energy. Welcome to anyone new in our crowd. BK, I won't point you out. Well, maybe I just did. It's nice to see some new faces here. And for everyone who joined us last month at our segment with Gord and Maureen Haddock, I really hope that you left feeling inspired and motivated and energized. I know that I sure did. I really think that those two really encompass what it is to be an entrepreneur. So to set the tone for tonight's conversation, I really want us all to put ourselves in that place. We all share qualities, or we wouldn't be here, of people who are driven, we're motivated, we're passionate, we are opportunity seekers. So depending on where you are in your business, whether you work for a company that you really love, you want to see them succeed, or whether you are a business owner yourself, to follow in the words of Maureen Haddock, what is our next logical step? Okay, our doors are open, the sign is on, we've invested money in equipment and startup. So what's next? This kind of brings us to the what now moment. Where are our clients? Where are our customers? Who are the people that are going to keep our business thriving and succeeding? So here tonight to help us navigate through this complex world of advertising, branding, marketing, business strategy is the owner and the founder of Boost Strategic Coaching and the author of this, amazing book, Hands-on Marketing, Small Business Owner's Guide to Advertising and Branding. So please help me welcome the fabulous and the insightful Daria Malin. Okay, it's a challenge to get onto these stools, just saying.
did it.
Yeah, we did it. Awesome. Well, welcome, Daria. How are you feeling? How are you doing?
Good, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Good.
Busy day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Daria and I had an opportunity to sit down together a week or so ago, just to kind of chat a little bit and sort of establish a little bit of what we were wanting to talk about tonight. And I'll tell you that within the first 2 minutes, I had learned something from Daria. You gave me a very tangible tidbit of information that we'll definitely share with everyone. But we really just started out laughing with each other and kind of at each other because Daria came to the meeting in what she called her yoga pants, and
By accident.
you were quite mortified.
Well, I left the house to take the kids to something. I think it was dancing, and I had gone to a Pilates class in the middle of my workday and then left the house and thought I'd changed, and I hadn't. So I said I would never have come to Earl's in these pants, but I couldn't go back home or they'd be late, and then I'd be late. So.
But I honestly didn't notice. But, I didn't want her to feel left out of the follies that happened to us. So I had to confess to her that the day before I had been out to lunch, and I sat down and I kind of just felt this sort of lump at the bottom of my pants, and I was like, oh geez, I don't know what article of clothing this possibly could be that's rolled up in the bottom of my pant leg, but I'm just going to sit here and hope that no one noticed, and walked out quite discreetly afterwards, but yeah, rolled up sock basically in the bottom of my pant leg from a prior use. So anyway, we've all been there. The point being is that I think when we look at other people and we look at business owners, we sometimes feel like they must just have it all together start to finish. So back to what Daria taught me within that first 2 minutes, is that it's a learned behavior. I think efficiencies and being organized is a learned behavior. So Daria hit me with a really nice, what she calls the 5-second journal, that I'm hoping that you can share with us to lead off.
Yeah, I'm not taking credit for the 5-second journal because it's not mine, but I'm always looking for systems for how to be more efficient and organized. Like, we're outnumbered by our children, so as far as that goes, it's hard to keep up sometimes. And so I just happened to share with her that I found a tool that I'm now using. It was Mel Robbins. Probably a lot of you have heard of Mel Robbins, but she wrote the 5-second journal, and I ordered it on Amazon, and it's just my daily planner, but it's a little bit more than that. It's kind of helps you narrow down what's going to be your big goal for today and why that's important and what next step you can take to accomplish that goal. And then on the other page, it's just you put down what your activities are for the day, what your appointments and things are, and then just in the space in between, you put down what other tasks you're going to accomplish. And it forces you to limit it to what's actually reasonable, because I find if you just have a to-do list that's ongoing, you just feel defeated every day because you can never get to the bottom of it. But this forces you to kind of organize it into segments of your day. And so it's just one of the tools that I've used for almost a year now that's really helped me, except it doesn't remind you to change your clothes before you leave the house.
Something we might have to actually schedule in. Going to a meeting, make sure to check your clothing and actually make sure you're wearing the appropriate thing. But I found out very quickly that you are indeed full of very tangible facts like that. So I think just in the short conversation that we had together, I took away a lot of points. So tell us about Boost. Let's jump into it. Tell us about Boost. Who are your clients and what is your role within the business?
So I work with business owners and professionals to help them simplify and clarify what is often confusing to most people about sales and marketing, business development and marketing. So the role that I play ends up being the co-pilot in their business to help navigate and help them to just do fewer of the things that are wasting time and money that aren't going to work, and just help them to do more of the things that are going to work. My clients, they span across a number of industries, but there's 3 types of business owners and professionals that I tend to really attract, and those are, I find, seasoned sales professionals who are looking to put a finer point on their sales skills, professionals who have never had to sell before, so they haven't been needed to sell, but they find themselves needing to find new clients and want to build their skill set around that, and business owners who have something special to offer the market that they just feel like they haven't fully monetized. So I work with them to help navigate how to get the word out to the people that need to know. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it sounds like you really can help a broad spectrum of clients through what you do.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. And so, how did you get your start in this business? What was your lead off point?
Well, I took my marketing degree at the U of S, and I went straight into advertising sales. I spent 16 years selling advertising, so I got to learn both how advertising works and then how the business development side of it works. And over the years, what I found more and more was that most people that I met didn't truly have a plan for how they were building their business. They were kind of throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. But then I looked at myself and realized I was also mostly throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks, just kind of trying different things, hoping some things worked. But as I guess because I like systems, I tried to take that model apart and really see what the pieces are for how business is really built, and then put it back together. And it really is marketing has made itself so complicated over the years, and it really shouldn't be complicated. And if you can just figure out who you should be serving, what you serve them with, and let them know that consistently, that's really all that business development and marketing is. And so that's kind of how I went from my marketing degree through all those years, and eventually learned a system, I guess built my own system for how to build business. And so after I came back from 3 different maternity leaves, I was able to kind of get better results each time I came back, because of course when you leave, other people start working with your clients and you have to build business up from scratch again often. So, so just applying the tools that I learned over those years to get better results every time is kind of how I figured it out.
Right.
Yeah.
So you really, over your course of the 20 years in advertising, worked with a variety of clients and really helped them to grow, not only in choosing what type of platform to use, but even just in their business development strategy as well.
Well, that was when I guess that's what took me to leaving advertising and coming into coaching, is because after having learned all those things and felt like I wanted to share it, I felt more and more limited by just being the advertising portion of a business that I was working with. And so it's at that point that I decided to leave advertising, even though I loved working in it. It's fun. It's a fun industry to work in. But that's when I decided to open my coaching practice, because then I felt the clients I worked with, I could help with them through sales, building a brand, and choosing the advertising that's going to be best for them, rather than just the one piece. Right. Yeah.
And you mentioned to me the importance of having a mentor. So there was someone along this journey that you mentioned that you had met that really saw in you and gave you that push to go out on your own. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, how that went?
Yeah, well, I think I've been selling successfully for over 13, 14 years by that point, but you just always feel like you want to learn more and there's got to be a better way to do it. So I actually started working with a business coach at the time, and so he just added to what I was already doing well, brought out the things that I was good at that I wasn't kind of applying properly, I guess, or to its utmost, I guess, and then just helped me to get to the realization of maybe I should be offering more, because I had more to offer.
Right.
Yeah.
So he saw you growing and helped propel you in that way and give you that confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so important to have someone in your life that recognizes that in you, because sometimes when you're just in your own skin, you maybe don't see that potential that you could be living. So, so as you're doing that, though, you're simultaneously writing this book, which I think is fascinating. Can you tell us why that was important to you to write the book, and how you managed to do it in such a short time? Like 18 months start to finish, you said, right?
18 months start to finish, yeah. I like to get things done. I didn't want it hanging over my head. The book was really just another way to, I guess, share what I wanted to share with more people than I'd have time to work with one-on-one. But it serves another purpose in that when people read it, they can learn my philosophy and what I have to offer before they decide whether they want to work with me. Because I'm picky about who I work with, I want them to also be picky about whether they're working with me or not. So it kind of gives them a bit of a baby step into what I have to offer. Right. I never went out to write a book. Like if you had said 10 years ago, I never would have said, oh yeah, I really want to write a book. But now that it's out, it's become a tool, and I like when it looks dog-eared like this.
I apologize. Yeah. I sometimes read in the tub, and this book, I'm bringing it here and it's kind of mangled.
Perfect. But selfishly, I love seeing that. I see people carrying it with it dog-eared or highlighted, and that makes me happy, because it's supposed to be used as a tool, not just something to read and leave. So I like to see that people are using it every day. Yeah.
Right, because what is unique about this book is that there are sections at the end of every chapter that is like homework. There's an assignment. So how did you develop that particular strategy, the work list, the checklist that actually goes into helping somebody get to that next level?
Well, if you talk to any of my clients in the room, they'll know I'm all about homework. So I like to see things applied to a business. There's too much theory out there and not enough application. And so in my coaching and in my book, I want to give people tools that they can say, okay, this week we're going to do this. So I find that a lot of us can get really busy just doing busy work, and then you get to the end of each week and you haven't done anything to actually move the needle on your business. So if I can help people to cut through the clutter and decide on what steps they're going to take each week to get them closer to their goals, that's sort of how I see my role in their business, is not only helping them to figure that out, but giving them actual new tools to apply to take their practices to the next level. Sometimes I think we do busy work because we actually don't know what to do to grow our business. Right?
That's very true. It can be a long day. You've been working all day, but at the end of it, you're kind of looking at it going, what have I actually accomplished today? Did I actually set goals? Did I meet them? How do I measure it? So having something like this, which will help, which guides you to the next step, is really, really valuable.
Yeah, well, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So if you don't have anything set out as tasks and an end goal in mind and measurables, then you don't know if you're doing well or not, and you don't know if you have done enough this week, kind of thing. Yeah.
No, exactly. So this kind of just leads me to the next question. Why do you feel that every business should have a strategist and a marketing strategist such as yourself?
Well, I won't say every business should, and I'll tell you why, but the people that choose to have a marketing strategist is because they realize that you can't read the label from inside the bottle. And so it's hard to be objective about your own business. I often find when I ask somebody what they do for a living, they tell me 15 minutes worth of things they do, but they haven't been able to pick out the key pieces that I might care about as a potential customer of theirs. So having somebody outside your own brain really helps you to pick out the pieces that you should be telling the market. But if you already have that dialed in, I always think you need to look at which area of your business you want to do better in, find somebody who knows how to do what you want to do, and go to them. So if it's leadership that you want to grow in, find a leadership coach. If it's a mindset shift, maybe it's a life coach, So my role is business development, marketing, growth. That's when you'd seek somebody like me out, is if you want to have more of a plan as to how to do that, and want somebody to help you figure out which parts of your business you should be sharing and how to do that properly.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that definitely makes a lot of sense, because I know as entrepreneurs or anyone in business, we tend to take things quite personally. And so I guess I'm just wondering, we talked a little bit about how somebody might be reluctant to actually bring someone in to do an analysis of their business. And I think because we have our name stamped on just about every part of the business, it becomes very personal. It becomes a little bit territorial. So it almost seems like if someone was just to walk into my closet unannounced and to kind of look around and go, there are piles of things everywhere that probably should have been sorted out, tossed out, dealt with a long time ago, stuff that doesn't fit, stuff that's not in style or never was in style. So it becomes quite personal when you allow somebody to come in and really go through it that way. So what do you say to business owners to help put them at ease and allow them into that really personal space?
Well, there's a few things. First of all, that line of thinking, I was thinking about it after, because you said that to me when we met, is sort of, well, I wouldn't necessarily want people to see how I run my business internally or what's going on behind the scenes. And I guess that it reminds me of when you clean your house the day before the cleaner's coming. You feel like you have to have it all clean before the cleaner gets there to do the work. So I think that's sort of why you hire a business coach, is to actually help you do the cleaning. But I think, and that's their job, is to help you sort that out. Also, I think that an entrepreneur it's very isolating sometimes, so having somebody to just share things with is often a weight off their shoulder. And anything we talk about is confidential. I'm like your priest or your doctor. I can't tell anybody what you've talked about. You can tell everybody what you've talked about, but I can't share that. So it's sort of just that sounding board. And sometimes I find that when And I mean, you build the relationship over time, so you don't have to share every single thing that's going on in your business when you first start working with a business coach. It kind of happens over time. But sometimes, I think you asked me why one would go for it anyway. I think first of all, it's you need to decide if and when you're worth investing in to grow. And then secondly, I think it takes you to the next level in business. When I started with my business coach, I just felt like it's somebody else looking at what I'm doing, so I'm not in this all by myself kind of thing.
Right,
Yeah.
you have a bit of a partnership within your own
Yeah.
business. Like you're saying, can take you to that next level.
Yeah.
Because if you're busy being everything for that business, you probably are missing a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but you don't. I think the last thing is that sometimes something you've been struggling with on your own for 6 months, I can solve for you in 5 minutes just because I have a different perspective. So it's like you don't always have to do all of this all by yourself.
Right.
So yeah, just don't clean your house before the house cleaner comes.
I know, but that's the thing. It's very personal. You're like, oh my gosh, don't want anyone to see I actually live like this. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. You've worked with so many clients in so many different industries. Can you describe, in your opinion, what you think might be one of the more common pitfalls that people enter into when they decide that they're going to launch a business or pick their brand or do any advertising? What are some of the pitfalls that you've seen?
Two big ones. One, trying to be everything to everybody. So not making a decision on who you're going to serve and being clear on that. And that results in having a scattershot approach to your marketing and just showing up to a bunch of different things here and there and not really connecting with any specific markets. So trying to be everything to everybody. Okay. And then the second thing is not being consistent enough in front of anybody. So in my mind, business development, building a business is 3 stages. It's visibility, followed by credibility, followed by profitability. So you can't skip those first 2 things and get to profitability if you decide you're going to serve a market, but only get in front of them when you're not busy. And then as soon as you get clients, you leave for a bunch of months and then you come back and they only see you a couple times a year. You're never going to build enough visibility and credibility to get any traction with that group of people. Same thing in advertising. It's better to do a few things really well year-round than to try a little bit of everything, because then you've reached 100% of the population and convinced them 10% of the way to do business with you. Mm-hmm. I see that all the time. And when somebody asks, who do you work with? Most people answer, I can work with anybody. And that doesn't give anybody a way to place you in their mind. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, that's very good advice, because there are so many options when it comes to advertising. And you and I talked about the fact that when you started in this business, the internet wasn't actually an option. Like, don't get me wrong.
Really
like looking at you, you would not think that, well, yeah, we're pre-internet, right?
Both
this group here is going, I have no idea what that even is. How could you even live? But, so things have changed. There's a lot of options. So how would you, I guess, when you meet someone, help them to navigate through where they should start?
It all starts with your strategy. Who are you trying to serve? What do they need to hear from you? And then where do you find them? You can't pick a tactic until you've figured out those first 2 things. And so whatever you choose to do, as long as you are consistent with it and giving value when you're on that platform, for example, then it could be a good place for you. But it's hard to say until most people skip those first 2. They don't really figure out who their markets are and what their message is. They jump right to trying a bunch of tactics. So all of these things reach people. It's a matter of how you're using them. Are you being consistent, and what are you saying when you get there?
Right.
Yeah.
And ultimately, advertising can be expensive, is expensive. So being able to streamline and focus where we're actually putting our dollars is important. So if we think about, well, we don't want to necessarily spend the money on having someone come in and help us coach. If you think of all the less dollars we potentially had, probably very well worth it.
Well, I think a lot of times you save a lot of time, which is valuable, and you save money by not doing a bunch of things that aren't going to work. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, well, we're getting close to the speed round segment of our night, brought to you by the people in the orange vests, or the orange jackets, I should say. But I quickly just need to ask, red or white? Those are important to me. Red wine, white wine?
Red.
Red, of course. And pizza or pierogies? I think I already know the answer, but...
Both.
Oh, okay, I didn't know the answer.
Why must one choose? I don't understand.
You are right. Why must one choose? Oh, okay. So we like to ask our guests if they have a particular role model, and if so, what are the traits that they try to emulate?
When I try to think of who my role model is, I can never narrow it down to one person. I think it's because it tends to be almost all of the senior business leaders in our community who still show up and come to these things and are always trying to look for the edge. So I look up to those people because I feel like they're always wanting to grow, no matter how successful they are already in business. And so I love going to events where we get to hear from really established business owners, but I love to see that they're still showing up every single week to events and workshops and seminars and things to always improve. Yeah.
You're right. Like if we don't become stagnant, think, okay, we've achieved a certain level, we can, put our heels down now. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So tell us what's brewing for Boost. What are you currently involved with, and what do you see in the near future?
I plan to open up my time for more group training, so corporate training in the new year. Also more speaking at conferences. So those are areas of my business that I haven't spent as much time on. I have 5 areas of business: my one-on-one coaching, the corporate training, speaking at conferences, my book, and my online course. And so the speaking and the group training I haven't been focusing on as much as I'd like to in the new year. So, yeah.
Well, that's amazing. You have a lot on your plate. So I think at this point we can open it up to the audience for any questions. If you want to pick Daria's wonderful brain here, and maybe she'll give you some some insights, please, that would be lovely.
What changes or trends have you been seeing recently that you think are changing the dynamic of how people market?
I think that there's a lot more, relational advertising or experiential advertising happening. So that I think businesses are trying to figure out how to make their clients and customers part of an experience rather than just advertising to them. And as long as it's done in a genuine way, it goes really well. In fact, our family was picked as one of the 9 families across the country to be part of the Chevrolet Road Trippers campaign this summer. So Chevrolet sent our family of 5 on a road trip to the Moose Jaw area, and they just sent us off with a GoPro and an iPad and a brand new car for the weekend. And I'm very picky about that kind of thing. I was really skeptical. But they kept it very genuine. We don't want you to try to sell Chevrolet for us. We just want you to have a really good time. And so that's an example of it builds brand ambassadors in a genuine way. So I've seen a lot of that. And it doesn't have to be big. It can be smaller things. I see lots of people who choose local brand ambassadors, or if you sell apparel for dancers, you might pick some local dancers and have them post online for you, kind of give them some direction, but then they become your voice in the market. So that's a newer way that people are having a lot of success, as long as it's not forced. Yeah.
I have another question right here behind the light. You guys won't be able to see.
You'll hold the mic? Okay. It's actually a bit of a follow-up question, what you said about posting online. So I'm wondering about the role of social media in marketing and advertising, and how do you work with your clients around very specific and targeted advertising using social media, and what success tactics do you see there?
Well, that is 3 questions. I'll try to remember all 3 of them. I'm just teasing. So social media, the role depends on what you sell and who you're trying to reach. So the smaller the ticket item, whether like a widget at a smaller price point, you're probably going to sell a lot more online. If it's a really big price point and a really long buying cycle, you're not necessarily going to have somebody click through and buy like their house online, but that it serves more as the reinforcement. So if you're selling something that's more direct business development, you should be spending a lot of time in front of your clients. Your online serves as the reinforcement. So they go, oh, I heard about this person, they might be a really good whatever. I'm going to check them out online to make sure they're legit. And so you build content and credibility online that way, but you're not going to have a click-through to buy. But if you're selling T-shirts, then you absolutely can sell them online. As far as how I work with clients to help with their online marketing, how to make it effective, when you can, again, be specific with the niche markets you're going after, you can target those online and then say to those people what matters to them, and it's amazing how well it works. I worked with a health center, and they realized that one of their niche markets also really liked doing yoga. So the people who like to do yoga happen to also be looking for this natural health remedy. And they'd already been spending about $5,000 a month on advertising online, but they were advertising to everybody. They switched and started focusing some of their ads on just people who were interested in yoga, because we all know, like, Facebook stalks us and knows if we like yoga, even if
Does it really?
It actually does.
Okay.
And so they started focusing on yoga practitioners with messaging that would appeal to specifically people who practice yoga, and their results went through the roof. So it's no matter what platform you think of who it is you're trying to serve, say what matters to them and be focused, online or off. Did I answer all three?
Well done.
Thank you. Yes.
Hey, Miss Daria. Okay, I have like 6 questions, but I'll go with one. So there's a lot of different small to medium-sized marketing consulting companies out there that do a variety of different things. What would you say how does Boost differentiate itself from your average marketing company, like say what Sarah does?
Yeah, so there are agencies who can put together plans and implement advertising for you. I am a business coach, so I work with you ongoing on your strategy, but the other piece is the accountability. So I'm there next month to make sure you've done what you were supposed to do by next month. And so what I hear from my clients is it's one thing to have a plan, but it's another thing to actually follow through on it. So the role I play is the co-pilot as you are flying the plane, but then we decide what are you going to do this month to move the needle on your business, and then you have to either have done it or tell me why it's not done.
You would be very scary if we didn't do the homework.
If you don't do the homework, it's all of us need accountability. I build accountability into my world with my coach, with some of my colleagues. Some of them are in the room. We meet once a month, make sure we get stuff done. So I'm more of the co-pilot, and my role also is a lot of the direct sales, so not just advertising. A lot of what I teach is, okay, you need to go find new clients for your engineering firm or your legal practice, or it's not just advertising. It's how do I get in front of the right people who need to be my next big client, and what do I do when I get there? You had mentioned that a lot of times people feel like they are the same as their business, and it's hard to separate those things. A lot of people have a real discomfort around sales because they think, I don't want to sound salesy, I don't want to be looked at as pushy. So if I can help them change their mindset around, you are not your business. You started your business because you have something great to offer the world. It's incumbent on you to actually let them know that, and here's how you're going to do that. That's a lot different than what an agency does. And often I send people to an agency where they actually have to place advertising, do some online stuff. That's not, I don't do any work. I just tell people what to do. But they complement each other well, because the agency will do a lot of that work and stuff for you. I'll help you follow through on both the direct sales and the marketing side. Does that help? Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Daria. Good to see you again, right here.
Okay. Hi, Milton.
As you know, I've been in business for a long time, and I'm still enjoying what I'm doing, so all is good. But things have changed so much, and yet they remain the same in some areas and some aspects of business. To me, service is a really important element of business, and now with everything online and so on, it seems to be squeezing the service portion out of the business. And I guess I'm looking for what 2 questions would be: where will service be in the future, do you think, and how do you relate that to service to marketing?
I think that a lot of businesses are going to lose their lower end side that can be done online, but where they're going to win is where they can add value through service. I know, in the financial industry, there's going to be very few fees left associated with the products. So it's when you can sit down across the desk from somebody and actually find that they're they're bringing value to your life, and they're doing more than could ever be done online. That's where service is going. And I think people want the service. I think we've done so much online. Now we're actually seeking that one-on-one direct help from people. I think what's going to just change is in what parts of our life are we looking for that, because it's some things, you're right, can be easily done online. And what was your second half of your question?
Well, how does that relate to marketing?
I think that you're always marketing what you're best at. So marketing is going to end up, your marketing is going to end up telling people how you serve them. Ultimately, it's what's differentiating you from your competition, and if it's that one-on-one service, an actual human answers the phone when you call in, that's the kind of thing that you should be saying in your marketing, because that's what's going to make you sound different than the guys that have an automated answering machine. I think that, yeah, that's what I'd say. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and I appreciate all the questions that came forward. Daria, you clearly are a wealth of information, so I hope that you all have an opportunity to visit with her a little bit yet this evening before we wrap up. So thank you for being with us. It's awesome to get a little bit of a glimpse into your expertise, and I know that you can be helpful to everyone in this room and beyond. So thank you, Daria.
Thank you very much.
So now we're going to do some draws. Curtis, you bringing up the business cards? So we have an extra draw tonight. Daria is graciously donating a copy of her book. So we're going to get Daria to draw the name. Now, if your name's drawn, please identify yourself, and Daria will bring it to you personally. Yeah, no cheating. No cheating. Well, Jill Hughes with Thrive. It was your question behind the light that you couldn't see.
Yeah.
Just right over there.
Oh, excellent.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Daria. All right, we have another one. Lucky winner of this prize. It's a gift courtesy of LB. Nadine, do you want to draw?
Oh, I'd love to.
Do you want to hold it
Hey,
higher?
I'm digging deep.
So she can't see.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm teasing. Yeah.
Lindsay Sokow.
Hey!
Sokow. Woo-hoo. Congrats.
Congrats, Lindsay.
There you go.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Last door prize. Courtesy of one of our community sponsors, the Saskatchewan Rattlers. We have 2 tickets to an upcoming game. So you hold that? Oh, okay. See, teamwork, right?
Teamwork.
If I pick my own card, I'll put it back. David W. Smith. There you are, sir. Congrats, David. I also do want to mention that Daria did bring a couple extra copies of her book. So if you're not as lucky as Jill to win a copy, she does have a few copies for sale. So if you find her after, you have the opportunity to buy those. And then, Daria, we also have a gift for you on behalf of the Chamber. We'll get it to you after. So thank you very much. All right, everyone. Well, on behalf of all of our sponsors, Connexus, Thrive, Edwards, LB Distillers, Doreen's, Sound Lounge by T-Bone, Lift Accounting, Royal LePage, Payworks, W Law Group, and Saskatchewan Rattlers, thank you for making the Chamber on Tap your networking event of choice this evening. Really great to see everyone out here. I recommend you grab another drink. There's still some food in the back. Enjoy some networking. It's not often that you get a chance to get in a room like this with so many great people, so go out and meet some of them. Keep your ear to the ground for more upcoming Chamber events. I will see you all back here next month on December 4th, where Nadine will be interviewing the incredibly interesting couple, Walter and Colleen Ma of Northridge Developments. So with that, plan a safe ride home and have an excellent night.